Looks like I'm on. Okay, so now let's get this working. And what we have to do is set those windows. Oh, we got to find the WDMA intro. Yeah, that's true. Okay, well, let's get the. Come on. There we go. There we go. Okay, we got 11 minutes to get this thing running. And we got this baby cooking now, right? Okay, there we go. Okay, good enough for now. Now we got to get this. We got to find the WDMA PowerPoint. That ain't it. Pretty good. That'll do. Okay, now okay. Notice the date on there if you're on here, and I've got to start cleaning up my act here. I got to get this on automatic swing switcher, and I've got to get that to window, and I've got to make that a plus. Okay, so I got that and that. I need one more window, which is over here. This one. Okay, and play that one a plus. Okay, that's the WDMA site, and that's a little big. Beautiful. Okay, switch to, okay, close. Now it should be working. There we go. Got 7 minutes to go. I think I'm streaming. Let's go look at the stream window. There's the countdown, and I can go over here to the stream window. And yes, it seems to be going. And I got to make this bigger. Somebody's watching. All right, we got our watchers. 10 minutes to go or so. 7 minutes to go. Look at that. How cool is that? So I've got everything going. Let's see if I can get this to work. I got this thing. I got this. My little seminar. I'm going to give you a seminar today. I'm going to give you a countdown, which is great. And a lot of stuff is going on. Oh, that's how I get back to me. I forgot about me. There's a lag here on the on what I'm seeing, of course, and what you're seeing is about, I don't know, a minute maybe. I mean, it's a while, and maybe 30 seconds. So it's quite confusing as the moderator. And the other thing that's fun is that I'm running this all myself. I mean, I don't know if you see the staff behind me, all the staff and all of the team that's putting this together. Ron and Grant, two more past presidents of the WDMA. They say basically, go for it, John. Whatever you want to do, have at it, have fun. So I get to be the face of the WDMA. Hopefully, we'll get some better faces, younger faces as we get going in this. We'll see. We'll see. But there's nothing wrong with the old faces, except most of them got tired of fighting the battles with the young faces. But there's money in it. There's money in the old guys. So what we're doing is we're giving you an opportunity to mine the old guys, right? And I should have some music playing. Let's see if I can get some music. It's really hot in here right now. Turn on my fan. I think I got CD over here. So I can just figure out how to push the button. It'll start it. Yeah, there we go. Get my Mozart playing if I can do that. That'll be my last project for the morning. Is try to get a Mozart playing. That will be I should probably just do, I forget what they call it, audio CD. Well, we're making progress here. Oh, a little loud. Ah, but it's nice. Boy, it's Handel. I'm sorry, Baroque Festival playlist. It's going to go an hour and 15 minutes, so that's about right. We'll get a little softer. That sounds pretty good, don't you think? A little Baroque. If it ain't Baroque, don't fix it. Somebody said once. Okay, so I go up here. If I click up here, you get back to me, and I have to watch the camera when I do that, right? And I have some great stuff. 3 minutes to go. I'll put in a commercial before we start. This will get chopped off later, but I got my book now in paperback. Look at that. It's actually a fairly substantial book, much nicer than the original edition. Let's see how many pages it is now. I don't know. This is great. 143 pages. My, it's almost like a real book. But it's really an executive guide. It was meant to be a pamphlet when it started, and it's an executive guide to the science. Look, see, executive guide to the science. No, art. No, magic of turning data into money. The only reason I promote it is because it's been so much more effective than than most things that you hear about today. If you're into modeling, or if you're into big data, or if you're into social media, you know this is about core direct marketing principles. This is old guy stuff. This is the stuff that we did back in the heyday. In the 80s, we invented all this stuff. We made money with it for 20 years. Then the internet came along, and everybody said, "Oh, that doesn't make any sense. Let's just change all the rules." I went into a client, and they had a bunch of social media guys that they were paying like 400 grand. And I said, "Well, you seem to be kind of giving away the story. Yeah, you've increased sales by 2 million, but you've cost us more than that." They said, "No, we haven't. We made sure that the sales always was greater than the advertising expense." I said, "Yeah, but we sell this stuff. We got we got whatever this is. We got to buy it or make it, put it in a box, ship it, all that. We got to pay you. We got to pay me. We got to pay everybody." I said, "Did you ever hear of cost of goods?" They looked at me like, "No, never heard of it." Didn't know what it was. Gross margin? No, weren't worried about that. They just were worried about that sales were greater than the cost of the advertising. Never mind, they were knocking off, and then they were on the top of that, they were lowering the price to make it attractive. Oh yeah, anybody can sell if you just knock the price to nothing. Half off. Yeah, come buy it. Anyway, so it wasn't so good. So sometimes the old guys with their old books, it's not out of print, it's on Amazon. Spinning Straw of Gold, John Miglash, if you can remember that. I'll turn off the commercial now, because here comes. Now, my clocky thing here, I got the clock thing. It says we got a minute to go, but my official timer says it's 10 o'clock. So I don't know. One of the clocks is off. I'm going to go with the. Oh, let's go over to see if we got any more watchers. Oh, yeah, we got more watchers. All right. Howdy. Howdy from Wisconsin, from the Wisconsin DMA. I got to say, when I was at Namoa, it was easy to talk to people about Wisconsin DMA, and people really wanted to talk about direct marketing. Okay, so I'll get rid of this window so it doesn't confuse me anymore. It says we got 30 seconds to go, but I'm going to say that it's already 10 o'clock, and I'm going to get started. Okay, so what are we going to talk about today? Well, there's a couple of things that I want to start with. First of all, obviously, the WDMA matters to me, matters in a big way. Why? Why does the WDMA matter? Why does direct marketing matter? Okay, the DMA matters, the WDMA matters because wholesale, the clubs and the associations have shut down. Okay, or they have changed their name, changed their mission. So I got in the mail the other day, maybe it was 2 or 3 days ago. I got in the mail ad marks from CADM. I would say it's CDMA, but it's CADM. And I was all excited because unlike most of the associations and clubs, the CADM, they have kept the faith. I believed that they've, first of all, kept in business. So I'll give them credit for that. They have a golf outing every year. I mean, we've mainly had golf outings since '86. We've had pretty much golf outings. But beyond that, we have, the club it was originally started as a Wisconsin Direct Marketing Club. So, I'm the old guy, I think that way. But the WDMA started in '86, and it it kind of waxed and waned through the years, and then all of a sudden, gone. Um, the internet won. That's what everybody thought. We had the recession, the Great Recession, and what's the point? What's the point in an anachronistic term? So anyway, I get this CADM newsletter, and I'm thinking, well, what does CADM stand for? It's a little hot in here. My air conditioning hasn't kicked in for the spring yet. And it says Chicago's multi-channel response marketing community. Right over here. Yeah, right there. And I don't know what that means. Chicago's multi-channel response marketing. Response marketing. And I did get an email the last week or two saying, why don't you talk about response marketing? I'll tell you why I don't. Okay? I mean, it's important to get a response. But today, a response has come to mean almost nothing. Back in my day, it meant get a customer. Get an order, get something in the mail with money in it. And I know that Myron Manufacturing used to sell these little calendars, and when they got the first order, all it was basically a lead generator. They lose money, they put your name on the calendar and send you a couple of them. But they didn't count those as orders. That was a response, but it wasn't an order. So in the old days, response meant something. It meant usually get an order. Nowadays, it means get a click through, get an eyeball, get persistence, get an IP that you can get an address from. There's a lot of things are counted as a response, and you can measure them. And that's usually why the response is important in direct mail or in direct marketing. Direct response advertising, you call it get a response. You do a Super Bowl commercial and you put some kind of sweepstakes up there and you get to see how many people register. Now, are they your real customers? Probably not. I did work for a global sweepstakes sort of service company, and they said, everybody gives their address, but nobody ever mails them. I mean, nobody. None of the sweepstakes, people who run sweepstakes, consider that a viable customer or worth the cost of an envelope. So the response is important. It's necessary, we would call it. Okay, so it's necessary to start your car. You got to have either your battery charged or a jump, right? You got to have some kind of electrical way to just get the car started. Now, yeah, it's necessary. Is it enough? If all you had was a empty under the hood and a battery, no, it wouldn't start the car. Wouldn't start, no engine, right? There's a lot of things that are necessary to direct marketing that are not enough to be direct marketing, and response is one. That's why I don't talk about response, which we're talking about today, because in the inside, Josh writes this nice letter, and he talks about if we don't push the boundaries of what's possible with data and technology for our brands or clients, and ultimately our consumers, we certainly wouldn't be criticized, but we would also most likely become irrelevant. Another relic of the direct marketing industry. Okay, so I'm a relic, and probably you are too. Not because we don't push the boundaries. We're running a Facebook ad right now. I think it just expired, like an hour ago. But we're running Facebook ads. We're doing a lot of breakthrough stuff, but that's not the point. That's not, and see, they don't even care about direct marketing anymore. They just said their mission up here, it says, our mission is a collaborative community for multi-channel response marketers. Okay, so much for that. I'm not going to talk about that anymore, but why I'm excited about the WDMA is because someone in this world has to explain, has to talk about the case studies, has to talk about the people that are making tons of money by doing direct marketing. It's come to mean nothing. It's come to mean where the order is placed. What relevance is that, right? I mean, even in the days of direct mail, I could be on a train and filling out an order form, mail it in from a work post box, or call it in from somewhere. It didn't matter where the location was, but it mattered. The process mattered. It was the sufficient condition is that we isolate causal variables, that we create a field valid experimentation. And that's what we're going to talk about in the WDMA. And, I see a few people watching that. Somebody wrote me and said, this sounds like the same talk as last time. Yes. Yes, that is true, more or less. It's never quite the same because this actually is live, and you can, down at the bottom on the YouTube, there's a place to chat, and I'm watching. So if you want to chime in and say, John, you're full of baloney, I encourage you to read my book. It's on Amazon. It's in paperback now. I talked about it before we started. But the WDMA is committed to this idea of what works, of figuring out what works. Wanamaker said, half my advertising is wasted. I wish I knew which half. Well, you can still waste money in advertising and direct marketing. I'm not gonna say you don't, but at least when you're finished, you have a clue what went on. Do we use it everywhere? We'll get into the case study, but so I want to talk about the case study just for a minute, and I have to go over here and find it. Here we go. This is actually the this is. Why isn't it clicking over there? It's supposed to click over to my screen. Let's see. Tools. Automatic screen changer. Oh, there we go. I didn't put it in there. Now it'll go. Close. Okay, so now we got it. Okay, it's a little big. It's a little messed up. Let's see. Make this bigger. I'll just put it over the top for now. Okay, so this is the WDMA website, and we have rotating pictures on the carousel. It's very beautiful. But I wrote an article back after the election because President Obama had transformed modern-day campaigning. He'd elevated the importance of the use of data. He'd brought in social media. Really, really changed the face of the presidential campaign. It says, but Trump, this is NBC News, in May of 2016, but Trump has largely dismissed its importance. They were pretty much convinced that Trump had no idea about data or about marketing or about social media or anything. He did tweets, but at the NMOA show, which I highly recommend, and we're going to try and do a deal for WDMA members, a special deal for NMOA. It's in the Schaumburg area in September. So I put in a plug for NMOA. I'll be there, hopefully presenting every conference. I put in that I want to present. They obviously know me too well. But so what happened? So there was a speaker, and he said Trump has spent so little money getting delegates to the Republican convention, way less than anyone in the last 35 years. We don't know what he's doing, but he's doing something very, very, very efficiently. Well, it turns out, of course, that if you divide his spend of $600 million compared to the Clinton campaign of $1.2 billion, so we've got an almost. I mean, this is the declared spend by the campaigns. I don't think the super PACs are counted in there. So we've got a $2 billion ad campaign going on. $2 billion promotional effort. $2 billion. And it's a head-to-head so we can see how it comes out, right? So when have you spent $2 billion in your ad budget? Who has a $2 billion ad budget? Okay, because people think, oh, direct marketing, that's just a bunch of little mom and pops in their basement doing their little folding up the envelopes and stuffing them and that kind of thing. No. Okay, this is big. And I want you to read the whole article because it is a massive story. Maybe the biggest story related to direct marketing in the history of direct marketing. So what did Trump do? Well, what was he doing to be so efficient? It turns out that he didn't want to spend a lot of money. When he started, he wasn't a career politician. I don't think he really thought he was going to be president. They said on The Apprentice, he said, I'll be back in a few months. So anyway, I don't know those answers. Someday maybe it'll come out in his memoirs. But the bottom line was he didn't have a lot of financial donors, and he didn't want to spend all his money. So he just wanted to figure out what mattered. And instead of hiring pollsters, he sold hats. I mean, read the article, but he sold hats. And I wrote to Brad Parscale and I sent him the article, and he said, "John, this is in the beginning. That's what we did. We figured this stuff out." They had 100,000 Facebook ads by the time they were done, and you know what they were doing? They were split testing. Now, was that the whole 600 million budget? No, they did a lot of TV. They did a lot of things. But I heard him say at a rally, because I started watching just to see, everybody said, terrible things, and so I watched one of his rallies and thought, you know, sounds like the opposite of what mainstream media was saying. So, I'm not going to defend him. I'm not going to, I'm not going to say you should have voted for him. I'm going to say learn from the victory. What did he do? But he did say something interesting in the rally, which was, we weren't going to come to this state. We weren't going to stop here, but we're selling more hats. They were watching where the hats were selling. They were watching the headlines that sold the hats. They were using direct marketing testing, A/B testing. Brad confirmed this to figure out what headlines worked, what promises were most important. Was it more important to build the wall or to reduce government regulations or to cut spending, or what was the most important? And they were doing that day by day by day, hour by hour by hour, with thousands and tens of thousands and 100,000 Facebook splits. Is it direct mail? People think, oh, John, you're just a mail order guy. Okay, yeah, I like mail order. I grew up with mail order. I lived a quarter mile, half mile from my mailbox. Anything that came in the mail was a big deal, and that that article is up there somewhere on the internet. But the why I love direct marketing so much is actually somewhere out there. But the point is, it's not about the media. It's not about just getting a response. It's not about the data that you collect or that you measure. All of those things fit together into this dynamic that is that we learn something, that we're running field valid scientific experimentation. Okay? And that's what direct marketing is about. And that's why I'm so passionate, because I know the kind of money this stuff can make. Okay? So now we're going to go over to the talk, and I'm mystified a bit that this was set up so well and now it's all screwy. It's totally screwy. I apologize for my screwiness of it. Let's see if I got it even close to working. No, looks like I don't. Somehow the window got moved way over, and I'm not sure how to fix it. But we will fix it. Now the mouse is all hosed up. There it is. There's the mouse. Okay, so I told you some of these things already. We're going to go and look at. I'm going to just skip to some of the tests. Okay, A/B testing. It's still, the fact is, most of my clients aren't doing much testing anymore. They measure the crap out of everything. Excuse my French, but they just aren't testing. They're not testing much at all. Why is that? Why is it that they're not testing? They're not testing because I think they don't understand the importance of it. That's all I can say, is that they just don't understand the importance of it. Okay, that is really messied up. Well, it's here somewhere. There we go. I'm just trying to get this on the board. It was working perfectly, but something goofed it up. Scott Adams, the creator of Dilbert, is using this software, and he says it changes every time. Okay, but the key is to randomly split the audience and change the creative or the offer or something else. So here's a good example. It's a deluxe check solo. They came to me and they said, John, you've helped us before. They helped us with the cover of their regular catalog. This was a product that they had that was, well, you can see it's a little booklet, a payment booklet for your renter. And this is the original, what it looked like. Okay, and so effective you wonder how you ever managed without it. Okay, and then it talks about it a bit. Okay, so I changed it a little. I think we can go previous like that. Okay, so they had introducing a way to collect monthly payments. I added introducing a money-saving way to collect your monthly payments. Not much, a little bit, just that added that in there so that people got what this would save them money as a manager of a property. Okay, and so here's all this, and then I'll go to the next slide. I added, oops, previous thing is supposed to show circles. I guess it isn't. Now I'm really messing this up. Okay, I added as low as $1.47 per book so they know that it's really not expensive. I said there's a free information packet. I put that up there in bold. I put the 800 number in bold, right? I put a guarantee in there. If you're not happy, we'll give you your money back. Okay? Was that a lot of change? It's not a lot. I made it a little more visually. There's a visual hierarchy. Here it says send or call for free information packet complete with sample book. Right. It's, the price is buried in here somewhere. I don't remember where. There's no guarantee. There's the 800 number's way over here, but you can't really see it. Here it is again in the copy. So, I made it bigger, made this bigger, put the guarantee bigger, put this in. It wasn't a lot. What do you think that did? It did 20% better. 20% is the difference between this division making it live, getting back, getting going, or everybody giving up and quitting. And it was a good product. So that's the kind of thing that happens when you split test. We with the same audience, mail half of one, half of the other, track it. You can track it. You could have a different 800 number. You could have a different landing page nowadays in the in the real world. You could do this on Facebook if you wanted. I'm not sure how many property managers are on Facebook. I'm not saying you should do it. I'm just saying you could. Okay, so how does it work? There's observation. Okay, most of the time when we talk about the scientific method, nobody mentions that. Okay, but observation is the way I learned it in sophomore year of biology. Curiosity. Think about things. Think about what you could be testing. Lose sleep at night. That is what old guy direct marketers did. Oh, they lose sleep at night. Okay? What did you see? What did you expect to see? What do you think caused the difference? This is the key element of direct marketing. What's the difference between A and B? And how much is the impact of that difference? Okay, so here is another test we did. I had to fire my creative director to do this test because he said, you're going to make this all ugly. The concept was, see if I've got, yeah. The concept was that we were going to do promotional merchandise. So you put your logo on here, you put your logo on a hat, you put it on a jacket, pens, really nice stuff. It was a higher caliber than generally was available through catalogs or that's what we had. So we decided to put our classy clients like Pontiac and Ford and 3M on the cover to show people this is classy stuff. This is not just tchotchke stuff, as they say. And so what happened was that I would give this to my friends who owned businesses, and I'd say, hey, here, you maybe could use this. And they'd look at me and they'd say, why would I buy a Pontiac hat? I don't even drive a Pontiac. And I'd say, no, this is so you could put your company logo on the hat. Oh, okay. I was wondering where those things came from. Okay. Well, after 10 times, where 10 people said to me, why would we put our logo, why would we buy a Pontiac hat? I said, they're not getting this. They're just not getting it, okay? They're not getting that it features your company name. And if you go back here, it says your company name, customized to feature your company name. It's right there on the cover, but they're not reading it, which is okay. Custom promotional, they don't know what that is. They don't even know what that means. So they're saying, I don't need a 3M tablet or an Avon pen or whatever. I don't need that stuff. Okay, so we changed it. Now, did you see how little it changed? We didn't change items. We made this as identical as we could. Same hat, same mug, same writing pad, same pen. This was a little different. It was a Cross pen. Now it's a Parker pen. But, custom embroidery. See, it says your imprint here, your imprint here, your logo. I had my creative guy, my junior, not the new art director, but my junior guy. He came in and said, John, you're going to make this catalog so ugly. And the new creative director spun around and he looked at me and he said, John, do you think this will work? And I said, I think at least 20%. I think, people don't get what we're doing. And the guy started in about ugly again, and the creative director whipped over to him and he said, "Your job is not to tell John what tests make sense. Your job is to make it as unugly as possible." Okay, does that make sense? Boy, it made sense. That was a real lesson to me in where the hierarchy belongs, right? Somebody's got to think strategically. Somebody's got to say, move the army over there, okay? Then shoot. Be good at shooting. You take care of the shooting. I'll take care of where the army goes. Okay, and that's what Trump did. He looked at where the signs were selling, where the hats were selling, tie it out with this lesson. Okay, so what? So let's go back just, oops, now I keep going back too far to, it should actually be able to right click on this, but it isn't. So now we're going to look at both of them, okay? Here are the two side by side. You see that? There's almost no difference, right? And we mailed 600,000 pieces, and we mailed 300,000 to this of this, and 300,000 of that. And what do you think it did? The one with the logo, your logo here, the ugly one. Not that it's that much different. We didn't change one letter of copy inside the book. There wasn't one change. There wasn't one price difference. There was nothing different. Every other name. Okay? Every other name. 40%. 40% improvement on profit per piece. You know what happens to a company when you improve the profits 40%? Well, they can sell out. That's what happens later. But the point is, we could grow. We could afford to get new customers. We could afford to push money into that thing because it was, profitable, but not house afire profitable. After this test, it turned it around. It launched it. 40%. 40% with just, and the funny part is that if you go to direct marketing seminars, you'll hear somebody say the list is worth 20%, the offer is worth 10%, and the creative is worth 5%. Well, part of the reason I have these two examples, I think there's a few more as the thing goes on, but part of the reason is because it's not just so simple as that. If people aren't getting what you're selling, if they don't get what you're doing, then the creative can make 40% difference. I've seen it besides this. The list can make a huge, if you mail to the wrong people, yeah, it's going to make a huge difference. But I'm assuming that you can get within the ballpark on the list. Although, I did work for Windham Hill Records, and they were renting lists of people 35 to 55, men, high income, high education, and they were getting like no orders. And they said, "That's who likes our music." Okay, that's right, but maybe not everybody who likes your music is that. And so I said to him, you got these CDs. There's one of their CDs. I still have them. You got these little CDs. How many of these Hummers do you get rid of in a year? And they said, "Oh, about 4 million." I said, "Did you ever think maybe you could put a little card inside there that says we have a catalog of our other records?" And they said, "You think that'll work?" I said, "Sure." Now they did it with Celtic ruin symbols on the outside and stuff. I would have had free catalog, fill this out. This was back in the day. And we generated, in 6 months, 600,000 new names, which is way more than they had considered renting. And the names pulled 20% response. That's 90 or something, 15%. We got 90,000 new customers. Oh, we made so much money. They'd never dreamed they could make money like that. So you know what happened? They sold the company to BMG Records. And they fired everybody that knew this story, so you can't hardly track it down. Take my word for it. These things matter. These things matter. They matter. We had, in that case, it wasn't strictly split test. It wasn't head-to-head because, I don't know if it was. I don't know that they rented the same lists again and showed how rotten they did. Sometimes it just makes sense to do it. Just do it. But that's what you need the old guys for. Anyway, so now we want to talk about the WDMA again and why you want to join. So you want to join because, Here we go. And I've got the totally wrong slideshow up. I'm not sure this will show up or not. Join WDMA. You click on the Join WDMA, which is up here. Join WDMA, and it actually will play play one of these webinars. So if you didn't get it at the first, you will now. It's not happy showing you the benefits, but if you go to the WDMA.org site and you go to the Join WDMA, you can watch it. You can watch another one of these webinars. And it says we're going to do webinars at least one a month. We're starting that in May. I've already got lined up a list guy that I'm going to interview, and I've got a creative friend that is just super creative, and she understands this stuff, a lifetime of understanding this stuff. And I wrote to Brad Parscale yesterday and asked him if he'd like to be interviewed. He's the guy that ran the Trump website and did all the split testing on Facebook. Just seems like the nicest guy. And so I'm going to try and get him. This is all exclusive to the members. This is not going to be on the public, never going to be out there for free. So this is the main benefit. But we're also having meetups. Every month we've had a meetup now since October, I think, which was our 30th anniversary. We're having a seminar on the 11th of May in the Green Bay area because the Mail House is a member, and they said, "John, would you come and speak?" And I said, "Absolutely. We'll talk about the power of, well, what we're really going to talk about, to be honest, I'm going to make this a little more advanced. I'm going to talk about what you need to do to make, it started out being called Selectronic Bindery, but to make the customer segmentation, to make customer differentiation with press. On press, you can do all kinds of stuff. But the question is, why? Who should you do it to? What's the impact of it? And for that, you need to be more aware of how to think about your customers. And so that's what I'm going to be talking on. That's May 11th in De Pere at the Mail House. Information is up on the WDMA.org. You can register there, and I'll inform them that you're coming. But anyway, so we're going to do those. We're going to do those private. There's a private Facebook group. It's already built, and we're going to offer that to you who join. We're also going to have, and those will all be live and interactive, so you can talk like you're doing here today. I forgot to keep looking at here. Yeah, you're still watching. You people are really. You're gluttons for punishment out there. But we're getting to the end. Okay, but we're gonna have, also we're working on courses, and I'm really excited about this. This is, see this? A catalog modeling simulation. This is something I built with Land's End back in the day. We thought if you're in e-commerce, and I never know who's watching it, people just watch. If you're in e-commerce, if you have a customer file and you sell a variety of products, you need to have a catalog. And I'll tell you why. Because in the glory days of cataloging, I got started in direct marketing, teaching businesses if they could be retail and we'd add mail order, or they could be business to business with a sales force and we'd add mail order and telemarketing usually. And the idea was that we could then tailor the cost of contact to the customer. Well, in the golden age, the 80s and the 90s, before the internet really caught on, the studies said that half the people who got something in the mail threw it right in the trash. That was the golden age of catalogs, where half the people threw it in the trash. There was ways to get around that, but that was kind of the way the world was. I'm seeing studies now that say the millennial kids, the kids that grew up on a computer, that had a smartphone when they were 8, they don't really want to, they'll do it on the smartphone, but they love the feel. We get this is one of my clients, but they got this beautiful paper, and it's beautiful pictures, and it's a thing of beauty. It's joy. We've got the Brandenburg Concerto. It's joy feeling this thing, and the tactile, and there's great studies on haptics and the interaction of your own head. Your head lights up when you feel beautiful catalogs, and it's visual, yeah, but it's not like the web. The intensity in your brain is so much different with a catalog than it is with a website. And it costs you $1 on Google to get a click to your website. Which would you rather have? Have a person potentially wading through this thing at a calm moment in their day, which you know where that is, or would you rather have them bop into your website and go boom, boom? You have so little chance. You spend $1 to do that. You can do this for this is like 70 cents. It's half the price of a lot of Google clicks. Okay, so what we've got here is we're relaunching the catalog seminar, which actually teaches the fundamentals of merchandise selection and list selection in a team environment. So if you have more than 15 or 20 people in your company and they have no clue what it's about, this would be really fun for you. So that's coming along. Land's End is really excited about it. We're also redoing the basics class. We're redoing it from the perspective of direct marketing, and that's coming along. Lots of things are going on here. So we're going to give you half price on any of the training that we're doing. Also, we're trying to move the meetings out of the state. My daughter's getting married this week, Saturday, so I haven't been as mobile as I wanted to be, and I thought I could be, but I'm a little tied down right now. But in May, we're really going to start launching this. I've got some of the webinars, private webinars, lined up, and I think we're gonna have something up in Minneapolis. I've got somebody in Chicago area who wants to do something. So we're going to have more get-togethers, and so we're not going to do the hotel thing. That's how we went out of business the last time. But we are going to keep you informed. It's going to be a lot of fun. We got, Wisconsin is the greatest direct mail, in my opinion, province or state in the world. We've got the best catalogs in the world. We've got the best culture in the world. And I'm so proud to be working with the WDMA. So annual memberships are $195 per year. Monthly are $19.95 per month. You can do that individually. There's a rate for students and scholars. Okay. If you happen to be from, like Siberia or something, and you're watching this and you would like to be involved, but you're never going to come to a meetup, and I'm never going to have one in Siberia, give me a call or write, and we'll work something out, okay? Because we want you to be a part of this, and we want people to chime in on the webinars. We also have corporate memberships, and the deal, if you want one of these webinars, or if you want a seminar on site or one of the on site big training, you got to get a corporate membership. That's going to be part of the deal. But that's not, it's less. It's about the same as the NMOA individual membership, so it's a heck of a deal. And we have a monthly price for that too. So if you want to keep your cash flow low, it's about $60 a month for the corporate, and then you can have up to 10 members participate in the private group, and it's a very low fee for the additional members you can have. You can sign up your whole company. It'd be great. Okay, so I'm running down on. I'm going back to the YouTube. There are looks like it died. My YouTube is frozen. I'll reload it. See if it's going. Oh yeah, it says it's going. Okay, and it says you're still here. So if you want to ask a question or something, that's fine. Otherwise, we've pretty much ended. And I'll stay on here a minute. I got more coffee. I'll warm up my coffee. And I hope you've enjoyed it. I enjoy it a lot. I get really nervous doing it because obviously I messed up the slide somehow today. I don't know quite how. I think you got the gist of it. I actually have the wrong slideshow up. It's not the one about the WDMA, but we make it through. It's live. there's something cool about live, and and I will get on to better things, to more important topics, to how to handle data, how to do customer modeling. If you have an appetite for a little more depth, I do have a YouTube channel that is interesting. Oh, we've got another watcher. So, for the new person who just came, we're pretty much winding down on the session today. It will be up later. It's a little scattered today. Today wasn't the tightest I've ever been. But the point is that we've got some great people involved. We've got 5 past presidents who are involved with keeping me in control. I'm willing to put a lot of effort into this because I really think it's that important. The DMA has taken direct out of their name, so it's now the Data and Marketing Association. The CADM has no mention of direct marketing in their newsletter at all. They have no mention of direct marketing except that about the relics of the direct marketing industry. So in my opinion, they're mocking direct marketing. That's not going to happen here. That is not going to happen in the WDMA. And I would really love to hear from you. I hope you join. I would love to share case studies with you. It looks like my thing froze up again, so maybe you're not seeing me. I don't know. I'll keep talking. But I'd love to hear from you about case studies. I'm especially interested in social media, in Facebook testing, in Google AdWord testing. There was a great session at Namoa with Katie from Silver Star, who had gone to a big search engine company. She never mentioned it, although we're pretty sure who it was, and gave them a lot of money. And they didn't ask who her customers were, and they didn't ask what they bought, and they just said, our algorithms are so smart, we'll figure it all out. You know, if they're so smart, why do I have to click on most recent year every time I search on any kind of software question? You know, they don't even keep the button lit for me. It's 3 clicks every time I do a search with their search engine. It's the most embarrassing thing. They should be ashamed of themselves that they don't even. I don't care if they pay attention and they somehow discern with their wizards and their math that I am annoyed every time I search with their search engine on software. They don't have to do that. They could just give me an option, put a switch on it, say, I want only the most recent year most of the time, and let me turn it off if I don't want it. So I again look like I got yellow stream health, and it looks like everybody's left. Oh no, they're back. You're still here. Well, say something. Type in on the chat. Ask me a question. Somebody save me. I've run out of material. I haven't run out of material. I'll put another plug in for my book. Okay, so what's this book about? Spinning straw into gold. Well, the first thing is, it's about that data is not hay. I called my local feed mill. There goes. Now they're leaving. I called my local feed mill and I said, tell me about straw. And they said, well, the first thing you should know about straw is that straw is not hay. Straw is a cleaning product. Hay is a feeding product. It makes the animal grow and nurtures them. And straw is a byproduct of wheat. It goes under the animal, catches what comes out of the animal. Straw is full of crap. And that's what you're working with when you're working with data. You're working with byproducts. You're working with people's tweets who weren't really talking to you. You're working with people's viewing habits where they may be lost on your site. I'm lost half the time on most sites. So you're working with byproduct data most of the time, unless you take charge of it, which is part of what it says in that Trump case study. So given that we're starting with a waste product, how do we sift through it and make it into something? And the fact is, that most people throw away their most valuable data and spend most of their time on the least valuable data. Customer behavior, real response, placing orders, spending money, that's real behavior. That's something. And notice, I don't mean to say this is, definitive, but notice the Trump campaign sold hats. They sold yard signs. I've been in politics since I was in 3rd grade. I used to go with my dad to grocery stores and walk around asking people if they'd like to put a candidate's bumper sticker on their car and explain that you can get it off with Coca-Cola. Just drip it on there when the campaign's over. Our candidate never won. I don't think ever. But we went door to door putting up signs. We always gave the signs away. We never sold the signs. When I heard that Trump was selling signs, I thought he'd lost his mind. But you know what? That's a hard response. That's way different than who do you think you'll vote for? Are you going to vote? Who do you think you'll vote for? And then the follow-up question they've started asking is, do you think you'll leave your house on voting day? And they say no. Well, that's a clue. That's probably not going to happen. They figured out they had a skew toward landlines. That people don't take these calls on their cell phones, but they'll take them if they have a landline. Okay, well, what demographic is that? That's not the only demographic that exists. So there's all kinds of skews in that polling data. Trump sold hats. You got him to put $20 down, right? That was a real behavior. That's what you're looking for. That's what you're trying to get when you're trying to figure out how to make money with data. You got to figure out what data affects buyer behavior, buying behavior. Okay? So I highly recommend this. I like the paperback way more. That haptic study says that you retain more. There's been dozens and dozens and dozens of studies that say you retain more when you read the book. Get your highlighter, get your pen, mark it all up. It's got lots of pictures, nice graphs and charts. It came out really well. The Kindle one is in color. I'll give it that. So the Rumpelstiltskin part is a little better because all my illustrations. Someday maybe I'll do a platinum edition and do it in color on the inside. I suppose I can. I suppose Amazon would love it. Sell it for $50 or something. I'll sign them all. Well, you watchers, I feel guilty hanging up on you, but I've gone. This is the longest I've ever gone, and you've hung on with me. Say something. Let's see if this works. Maybe it's this. Oh. 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I see myself up there. Chime in, and it better not just be my friend Gordon. But again, I'll put a plug in for the WDMA. We're having a meetup up in De Pere, which is just south of Green Bay. It's right off the freeway. It's really convenient. Even if you're in Milwaukee, it's really convenient. If you're in Stevens Point or Wausau, you just shoot over and shoot straight over, and you can run right into De Pere. And we're starting at, I think, 9 o'clock. There's probably even donuts. I don't know for sure. There'll certainly be coffee because I'll bring mine if I have to. So we're shooting over there, and I'm going to be talking again on customer segmentation and how to turn your customer file into something that works for the print capability that exists today, which I think is really, really a poignant topic. Remember, it's not so simple as to say the list is everything, then the offer, then the creative. Sometimes the creative is sending a wrong message. So we're going to have Carol. I'm going to have Carol come on and do a webinar in the private group that you can't get to unless you join. So there's going to be a lot of cool stuff. It's going to be the best DMA in the country because it may be the only one pretty soon. The Midwest Direct Marketing Association seems to be toast. Their URL is is no longer active. I did try to find them. There are people in Minneapolis who want to do this, and so we've got a big member up there in Minneapolis and another company that's looking at it. I'm very excited to go up there. My daughter, bless her heart, is moving. She bought a house in Minneapolis. The one that's getting married. The other one lives in St. Paul. So I have two daughters and a son-in-law up there. So I'm gonna have to help out the far north, whether I want it or not. One of the mistakes I think of the original WDMA was everything was in Milwaukee. And when I was president, we did some things that were pretty successful up in Madison at Demco and had some really nice meetings there. But I'm interested in having them in Wausau and having them in Minneapolis and having them in Wheeling or Rockford or Dubuque. You bet. I have a friend in Dubuque. I got to get in touch with her, see if we can have one out in Dubuque. Because as far as I know, maybe there's never been an Iowa Direct Marketing Association. And, I wouldn't be so aggressive about it. I don't mean to cross state lines with this, but it's not like Oleo. When I was a kid, you couldn't buy margarine. You couldn't buy colored margarine in Wisconsin. You bought white. You could only get white. It was banned. So they used to smuggle it. And there were signs as you went down to Chicago, 994. There were signs that said Oleo Oleo, big signs. You go across the border and buy Oleo so that you could have margarine. And I don't know why you'd want margarine, but it was, And then some really innovative guy. I think I met the guy who did it because he told me the story. Said they sold the white Oleo with a packet of yellow dye right in the package, so you could take your bar of white. It looks like lard when it's white. But take your white and mash it up, pour the yellow dye in, and it looks almost like somebody's calling. Let's see. I should have put the phone. See if it's anybody I know. Call from Ed. Okay, it's Ed. But unfortunately, the phone I had it on yesterday, so it wouldn't interfere with my recordings. I'm taking that as a sign that I should get off the air. And I will, I pity you people. I'm watching my live feed. It's just silly. But we have a lot of fun here. I'll edit it down so that so all this stuff will get cut out. Thank you for watching. It's really fun that you come and join. I really think it's the start of something big. I think we're going to have a lot of fun. And we're going to learn a lot together because I certainly don't know everything about direct marketing, not even close. And this Trump story just opened my eyes to that it's still the most powerful marketing weapon in the world. On that note, I'm John Miglosh for the WDMA and the International Society for Strategic Marketing. Go over here, hit the stop